Welcome back everyone. So in today's video I will be showing you how to install Kafka on a Docker container using a Docker Compose. Alright, so I'm using Mac environment, but if you're using Windows, the steps should be very similar. Alright, so we'll go through the entire process on how to do this on Docker, and towards the end I will show you how to also create topics, produce messages, and how to consume those messages. Okay, so this is going to be a beginner friendly video because myself personally also I started learning Kafka recently. So I'm just doing this so that 6 months or 3 months down the line, when I forget how to do this, I can come back to this video and refer to it. Alright, so let's jump to it. Okay, so how to install Kafka on a Docker using Docker Compose. Okay, so this is just one way of installing Kafka using Docker. There are several ways of doing this. Okay, so but Docker makes it much more simpler in order to bring this environment up. Alright, so what are some of the prerequisites for this? So you do need to have Docker installed on your machine in order to use it. Okay, and to do that is pretty simple. Just go to you can download Docker Desktop in your, so if you go to your browser and just type Docker Desktop download, go ahead and install Docker. Again, I'm using Mac, but you can install this on your Windows as well, right? So I do have Docker Desktop installed, so I'm just going to bring it here. So I'm just going to Docker. I'm going to open it, and okay, so this is my Docker Desktop dashboard. Okay, and I am logged into this desktop currently, and as you can see, I currently only have one SQL Server container. I believe the images here, these were previous images for Docker. I'm just going to delete this because I will just be doing this from scratch, right? So this is how the dashboard looks like for Docker Desktop, and this is where we will be installing our Docker, right? So I have one container again here, so we'll go ahead and also install another container for Docker, and we will be using that Docker now for our projects, right? Okay, so let's go back to, I'm going to go back to my terminal. I think one other way also of making sure that you have Docker installed is if you just type the command docker version in your terminal, you should be able to see something like this. And automatically when you install the Docker Desktop, this should, after install it, this should be able to work. But if you're struggling with installing Docker, I also did a video previously on how to install Docker on your machine. So I'll put the link also in the description, and you can go through the steps so that you can be able to install Docker correctly in your environment, right? So again, I do have it installed for me, and now let's go ahead now and start our Kafka installation process, right? So for that, what I will do is I'm just going to go to my working directory. So I'm going to go to my users directory right here, and I do have quite a bit of folders here. The one I'm using is this one for Kafka. So I have created a folder for Kafka here, and I do have some other files here. You can also see this Docker Compose file here. This is the one I was using previously. We will create a new one for this, because I think you can create several Docker components or Docker Compose files. So we'll just create one for this video, and we will use that to put up our Kafka in a Docker environment, right? So this is the folder, and now what I will do is I will go over to Visual Studio Code. I just find it easier to do that within a code editor. And you can, if you want to use this code editor, you can use any editor that you like, right? It doesn't have to be Visual Studio Code. You can use Sublime, you can use any other editor really, right? PyCharm, whichever. So I have this this folder here available, right? So if you go to files, open folder, just go ahead and bring that folder there. So it doesn't have to be Kafka for your case, it can be any other one for you. I think for me it's this Kafka, so I just open it here, and it brings it for me to this location, right? So inside this Kafka folder, I do have like some few other files, right? So this commands one, this will be useful for us, you know, in a little bit when we come back and you know, we want to create our topics. I just put the commands here because sometimes it's hard to remember this, right? So I just put them here and then I'll just come back and copy them. You know, it's you know, all of this, it's good if you can remember them, you know, offhand, but yeah, my memory is kind of short, so I just put them somewhere here and then I'll just come back later. And then so our this is just a sample of the compose file. This is the one I had previously running, so we'll not use this, we'll come back to this. We'll create one like this for ourselves, okay? And then this was for the PCM connection, so I'm not going to use this either. So okay, so this is our folder here, this is our folder structure. Ignore anything that you see here. Yours probably is going to be pretty brand new, and if that's the case, just go ahead and create compose file. So actually, let's go ahead and do that. We will go ahead and create within our root, we'll go ahead and create a file, and we will call this one docker compose demo .yml. It's going to be .yml file, right? Yeah. Okay. So this is not this is going to be where we'll put our compose file, right? Now let's go ahead and fetch our compose file. I could just directly copy this and put it up here, but I want to show you, you know, how to do that. And in the age of AI, things have been easier. So let's go to Gemini. So I'm going to go to Gemini, or you can even use ChatGPT. I find Gemini a bit more clean, and it makes things work for me, especially, you know, like coding and stuff. Gemini for me works. I find it like to be more effective, but you can use any agent. I mean, chat or AI agent that you use out there. So in Gemini, and this is Google provided, so if you go to your browser and type anything, you will see, let's say for example, install Kafka using Docker Compose, right? If you go to your browser, your Google browser, sometime, let's say this one here, sometimes, right, sometimes, yeah, AI off of it, so you'll see this. So the browser now is powered by AI. So you can even like copy directly from here and go ahead and put it, you know, in your compose file, and then it's going to hopefully run. So this Google Gemini is a Gemini provided AI, and it works with the browser now. So let's go ahead into the app. See, this is the Gemini app, and what I will do here is I will just put the prompt here. You can put the prompt in whichever way you like. So I'll say here, I want to install, let's say Kafka, right? Kafka on Docker using Docker Compose, right? I will just say here, I am using Mac or Docker Compose on my, let's say on my local Mac machine, right? Please generate me Docker Compose file with stable images, right? So it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but just something so that it can understand what you're trying to do. So I hope this one is, you know, is clear enough for the AI to understand it. So I'm just going to go ahead and click run for this. Okay, so you can see here, create joy setting up Kafka and Zookeeper using Docker Compose, the standard reliable way. Here is a complete Docker Compose file that defines a single Proca Kafka cluster with Zookeeper using stable images. Okay, so in this case, it's using Bitnami stable images, Bitnami Kafka, and Bitnami Zookeeper, which are commonly recommended for their ease of configuration and stability. So you may not see something exactly like this. So I know previously when I ran the same, when I put the same, it gave me Confluence, right? Confluence, this image, it gave me this image. it also gave me this for Kafka. So if you see here and you think that the images that are provided here are not the one that you're looking for, you can still just go to Kafka. I think it's like Kafka Docker images, something like that. So you can go to Docker Hub and grab the images for yourself, right? So you can go there and get the images, you know, from Docker Hub, right? So you can go there and look for the images. So you know, whichever one you like, right? So I guess in production, just make sure that if you're running this production, yeah, your team might want to use images that are more stable for the team. So this is just an example. So the images you use, I guess, you know, it depends on you which one you use. But in this case, let's run with what it has provided us. So you can see it has given us this Bitnami image. So these are the services. So the services here, we need Zookeeper for the Kafka Zookeeper service. So this is the image, and then this is the container name when we run this, and it's going to be running on this port 2121, right? Okay, and environment use Synco node setup. Okay, anonymous login. We will just leave most of this as they are, and if they don't run properly, then we'll come back and see if we can change something, right? So you will see here, this is our Kafka service, and it's using this image. The name of the container will be Kafka, and it's mapped to 1992. And then this is some of the environment setup. Kafka proc ID must be unique. Okay, so you have one proc ID here, Zookeeper connect 2181. These are the listeners here. So plain text is 29092. The host here is also 1992. I guess if you are connecting it from your from your machine and from internal services. So these are some of the ports that you can use later, and maybe later when we do some additional stuff on Kafka, this might be useful, right? So these are the listeners here, including localhost. Okay, all right, so we have depends on Zookeeper and some network configurations. So it tells you how to run this, right? Save the file content into file named Docker Compose, and then you can go ahead and run it, and then after that you can check PS. Okay, so let's go ahead before you. So if we go to our terminal and do PS, you can see we don't have anything running, right? So let's go ahead now and copy this. So we'll just copy this. We'll just copy this compose file here, and then we'll go ahead and paste it right here. Okay, so we'll paste it in our file, the one that we created previously, right? Okay, so this is going to be our compose file, and I think, you know, AI also, you know, always produces quite a bit of stuff, so a lot of this may not be necessary, right? A lot of this may not be necessary, so you can remove them as required. All of this, you know, you don't have to have all of this, but we'll leave them as it is and see how good this works, right? So we'll go ahead and save this. Let me just close this. So we save this, and now inside our Kafka, right? So you can see we have that docker compose.yml file. So what it is telling you here is now the next thing that you want to do is go ahead and run that, right? So docker compose up, and then this t flag, I think, is runs it in the background. Yes. So let's go ahead and run this now. So I think one thing that's missing is also if you want to specify the file, your docker compose file. This assumes that you only have one docker compose file in your root directory, right? So if you don't have two like myself, then you can do it this way and it's going to run. But because I have two files here, then we have to specify which file we need to use. So for that, we'll go ahead and do docker. Let me just clear the screen here. Okay, so we'll do docker I think, what's the command? Docker compose. I think docker compose. Is this? Yeah, it is. Okay, right. All right, docker compose, and then we will do, let's do the file here, file, and then we will do docker underscore compose, that one, and then we put the command we want to up this, and then run this in background. Okay, so let's see how this one works. So we are this is the Docker compose to specify that we want to run Docker compose file, and then this flag here is to specify that we want to use this file here. So this is for file, and we want to use this file right here, and then we want to bring it up and run it in the background. Let's see if this is going to run. Okay, all right, so there we go. Yeah, so it's running, and there's an error here. Okay, so it did not able to find Bitnami 3.8. So if you're working with AI, just always you can just come back and bring this here, paste it here. Let's tell AI that this is not able to find. Okay, so probably it's going to give us another one. So it has brought it up to 3.9 now. Okay, so let's go ahead and see where else. So okay, so this one is saying 3.9, and then what else did it change? 3.7 for Kafka here. Okay, so 3.7 right here. Okay, let's go ahead, just go ahead and save it. Once you put 3, hold on, so go down here, and then we will just run it again. Let's see what happens. Okay, so 3.7 not found. Okay, so you can go back there, keep telling it that it did not find, and then yeah, it will go round and round. Did not find, most recent approach, latest. Now it's telling you to use latest. So which one was that? It complained this second time about Kafka 3.7, right? So 3.9 is good. Now it's going to Kafka 4.0. all right, let's see if that's going to work. Okay, this is going to be 4.0. okay, and then we go ahead and run it again. Okay, and it says Zookeeper 3.9 is not found. Zookeeper 3.9 is not found. Okay, AI, what's happening with you? Please give us something that works properly. We'll use latest. Okay, we'll use latest. Okay, fine, we'll use latest. Let's go ahead and use latest. Okay, what else did you give us right there? And then Kafka latest as well. If this fails, we'll just tell it to use the Confluence for us, because sometimes it gets confused. Okay, all right, and then we'll go ahead and run this. Fine, yeah, latest is not even there, so I don't think Bitnami is even a thing. So we'll just tell this one here. Let's use Confluent images. Okay, all right, you are absolutely right to move from Bitnami tags if they are giving repeated. All right, good. Yeah, let's see now what happens. Awesome. So we'll go with this latest one. So this is something that AI always and it will keep doing that if you realize that it is, it's doing all of this overlay. It's going like round and round. You can just, if you know what you're doing, you can tell it to pivot, right? So we'll just copy this. Let's copy the entire thing here, and then we'll replace it with this one here. Okay, so now I'm realizing this is also kind of like how to use AI in your, like when you're doing your projects, because it's never straightforward. And that's why, like, when you're using AI, if you don't know what you're doing, then you end up like getting also frustrated. So okay, so we are going to be switching over to Confluent now, because Bitnami didn't work out so well for us. Okay, and all right, so I think the rest of the other things are remaining the same. You can see we have additional, I don't know if this one's there before, but okay, so this is how it's looking now. And if this works out, I'll paste and put this in the description as well, in case you will want to use it. Anyway, so let's see if this is going to work out now. Let's run that file again. There we go. Okay, so there are signs now. So it looks like the image that we were using previously was not available, or maybe it was available in the previous versions, but now they are no longer available, and Confluent seems to be the most active one. So maybe when you run, in your case, if you are following the same steps and you end up running into issues here, you can go actually into the Docker Hub and get the images. Maybe that's even the best way to do it. Grab the images from Confluent website and then just go ahead and put them here, and you should be good. But in any event, this one has completed running now. Okay, so this is again these are the services, the Zookeeper. The host name will be Zookeeper, and the name of our container is Zookeeper here. And then for Kafka, our container name will be Kafka, the host name will be Kafka, running in port 9092. And then these are the external ports. And then we have listeners here. Add further listeners right here. Okay, 9092 localhost 2992. Okay, very good. Now, if you go to the logs here, you will see now we have the container right here, right? So you will see the Zookeeper is started, container is started, and also the network is started as well. So that means that our Kafka containers are now running. So let's go ahead and check that in our Docker Hub. Okay, so you can see here in our Docker dashboard. Let's see. Looks like Kafka is still starting. Do we have errors here? So you will see that we do have errors in the logs here. Error in executing variable Kafka roles, and so that error is there. Let's see if it's showing up here. Docker PS. Okay, so you can see that Kafka is restarting here, and it has restarted once before, so probably it will keep doing that. Okay, so when you go to Docker desktop, you can actually monitor the logs and see if there are any issues. So we can see clearly for sure that Docker is having issues right here, right? So you can see error in executing command environment variable is roles is not set. So let's go ahead and copy this, and let's go back Gemini and give that command right here. Okay, so you can see that error indicates that the Kafka container is starting in an environment where it expects to use newer Zookeeper less craft mode of Kafka, but necessary configuration for the mode is missing. Okay, so you can see, because we use the latest one, right? It expects some specific variables to be set. Okay, so what that's done now is it has brought us down to 51, which is a more stable version, right? And I think the rest of the other things are still good. Okay, so important, if the above doesn't work, add this to disable. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this, I think, or you can just copy the image and replace it to your compose file, right? So we'll go ahead and just do the whole thing. And now we'll go ahead and just run compose file again. We'll just run it again. Okay, so it tells you like the version is obsolete, so that means you can maybe, let's just remove this. Says this one is no longer needed, so we'll remove it in case we want to run this again later. Okay, so this one has finished running now, and let me just bring this up. There we go. Okay, so this has finished running. Let's go back to our Docker desktop, and there it is. This is more stable now, and I think let's see if there might, so looks like there is failed requirement, must be listener mode, add for the valid. Okay, so add plain text. All right, so let's see, there's some error there, maybe it's a warning. Let's run again and see if it created. So it seems like it's still restarting. Let's see if that's the case in the container. Yes, it is still restarting. So maybe let's go ahead and fix that one error. So it is at the bottom here. Let's just copy this, and we'll just copy this message and put it back to our agent right here. Okay. All right. Means that your Kafka program is trying to use listener name for internal program, and yeah, so fire something isn't one of the valid options. Okay, the fixed setting, listener name. Okay, all right, here is the change. Right here, plain text. So it's putting these listener definitions here, doing the mapping. This is the required fix. Okay, so it's putting it here. Has anything changed in our configurations? Maybe not so much, just this one. So we'll just go ahead and copy this. Looks like that's the entire file. And we'll replace this guy here. Okay. Let's remove this version because it said earlier it may not be required. Right here. Okay. So I think this is probably the last version for this. And you can see here, this is the required fix here, plain text internal. Okay, so let's see if this time it is going to work out. Okay. All right, so seems like that one now ran also, and let's go back to Docker, check our files here. Looks like it is clean this time. All right, so these are our logs and they seem to be cleaner. Let's go back to our terminal and check Docker PS. All right, so you can see now this one is no longer restarting. This one was created 26 seconds ago. Seems like Docker is now working properly. Okay, so this is the final version of our Docker Compose file, right? So there we go. All right. Okay, so and you can see now, like, this is the name of the container. So if you go back to here, you can see this is the name of the container, and also this is the name. So this is the name for Kafka, this is the name for Zookeeper. You can see the same thing in your containers here. The name of the so Kafka comes with 2. So you can see this the name for Zookeeper, and then Kafka also is Kafka, and these are the images that we are using, right? So we are using, this is the one, these are the ones that we were using previously, the latest ones. We don't need this anymore. We are using this now, the Confluent images, and these are the stable ones. All right, very nice. So we have our Kafka now running. So let's go ahead and check how to use this. So to do this, you need to now log into the Kafka container using the name. So in this case, we can do docker exec and then do it in interactive mode IT, and then we want to run Kafka. We want to enter Kafka, and you want to put here after that, I think it's like pin pash. You probably need something at the beginning there, but let's see. Okay, I think it's like this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it's slash pin and then pash. So you are entering into the Kafka container now. So we are logged into Kafka now, and I don't think you can't do clear because we are inside the Kafka container now. So if you go ls, we are inside app. So you want to go into the root folder and then go to cd into pin, and then inside here, this is where now you have like those commands, right? The Kafka producers, Kafka consumers, and all of the juicy stuff. So you have all of these guys here now, and this is from here now, this is where you can start running commands, right? So let's go ahead and list topics. So let's go ahead and list topics, and to do that, you can use this command here, Kafka list topics, and then the bootstrap server we're using is localhost. So let's go ahead and try running that. So you have to be inside the Docker container itself, right? So I'm just going to copy and paste that, and let's see what happens. So you can see we don't have any topic currently in our Docker. So let's go ahead and create a topic. We'll just create one topic. Okay, so to create a topic, you can use this command here. So Kafka topics create, and then topic and the topic name. So let's say for this one here, let's say demo topic, right? Demo topic, and then we are going to be creating this inside our localhost server, partition 1 replication factor as 1. Okay, so I'll copy that, and we just go ahead and paste it right there. Okay, And there we go. So you can see there is a warning here. They don't like you to use underscores. But in any event, our topic has been created. So let's go ahead and see if we can list that topic now. So if you go and list the topics, you can see we have a demo topic created now. Okay, and now what we want to do is to go ahead and publish messages to this topic. So to do that, we want to be in the producer console. Okay, so we want to publish messages, so we want to use the Kafka console producer, and then the topic that we want to publish the messages to. So in this case, let's use demo topic right here, and then everything else is the same. So we will do that right here. Okay, so we'll do that right here, paste it, okay, enter. And now when you see this, this is basically this arrow down here is basically now prompting you to enter the messages. So let's say hello Kafka. So you can start producing your messages. Okay, nice to meet you. Our Kafka is now set up. Okay, hooray, right? So all of these messages, you can start producing your messages, and these messages will now be available in that topic. So let's go ahead and exit here. So I think it's like just Control C. If you click that, if you're on Mac, then it's going to get you out. And then now let's go ahead and try to consume those messages. So let's go and consume those messages. So the command for that will be here. We have to go inside the console consumer, and we can start consuming from this same topic here, right? So, and then for this, we're just going to say consume from beginning, and our local host still is 1992, right? So let's go there. I'll paste this here. Hold on, paste it here. Okay, consumer, there we go. So when you do this, you should be able now to see some messages showing up. Basically the messages we produced. So you can see, hello world, nice to meet you. Our Kafka is now set up, hooray. So those are the messages that we entered in our topic right up here. And we can now be able to consume them here, right? Okay, so that's awesome. So we are able to produce messages, we are able to consume them. Now, in some other cases, you know, you might not want to continuously use the terminal, right? So is there a sort of a GUI or a UI where you can see some of this information? The answer is yes. So let's get out of here. I'm just going to, let's just exit out of here. But yes, we do have a UI, and what we will do is, let's see if this guy is able to tell us, right? So now let's tell this guy, now I want to consume or see the messages and topics in Kafka UI or a UI form, right? Is there a service like that? And can we add it to our compose file, right? Let's see. Okay, so let's see if Gemini, okay, so yes, you can absolutely add a service web UI, and the most popular, reliable, user-friendly one is UI for Apache Kafka, often just called Kafka UI. Okay, lovely. And here is the updated YAML file, including the new Kafka service. So you can see this is the updated one, and then at the end here we are going to just add this service called Kafka UI Profectus Labs Kafka UI latest. I'm not sure if the latest one works, but let's go ahead and use it anyway. So we'll just go ahead and copy this, or you can copy the entire thing and put it in your, because this is anyway the latest one. So for my guess, I'll just copy this last one here, and then we'll go back to our compose file, and we'll put it just below here. okay, like so. All right, so that's for Kafka, and this is Kafka UI, and it's going to be running in port 8080, localhost 8080. You can see here it's telling you can access it from this location. So it depends on Kafka running before it starts. That is correct. Okay, so let's go ahead now, and so we have added our Kafka UI. Let's go ahead and start this over. So you don't need to bring this down, you can just run the same command again, and it's going to recognize the new addition. So in this case, it's going to be recognizing Kafka UI, and it's going to run it. So you can see now Kafka UI is started, and in order to consume it now, just go to your browser, type localhost 8080, and there you go, right? So this is how your UI looks like. This how the Kafka UI looks like. You can see the process, how many processes are there, and you can also even see the topics. So in this case, you can see a demo topic, and if you go inside there, we have our messages that we produced earlier. So you can see the timestamp we produced these messages, and also what kind of messages we have. So hello world, nice to meet you. Our Kafka is now set up. Hooray. So those are the same messages that we produced in the terminal, and we are able to see them right here, right? Very nice. Now let's go ahead and see if we can create a topic from the UI, because even within this UI, I think you can still interact as if you were inside your terminal. So if you go here, you can add a topic. Okay, so let's say UI topic. I'm just going to call this one UI topic demo. Number of partitions, I'll say this is 1, and then you can see here the time to retain data. I'm not going to put anything here, but you can put here if you want to retain your data for a long time. Replication factor, let's probably do this as 1, and then that's it. Okay, you can add any of these other ones, but I'm just going to leave everything else as it is, and we'll go ahead and create this topic. Okay, now if you go to topics, you see that we have one topic created here, UI topic. And if you go back to actually our terminal and you list topics again, right? So if you list topics, we should be able to see that additional topic created. So you see right here, UI topic demo. So it syncs. So whatever you do in the UI side here also syncs with your terminal, right? And then I saw somewhere there, and this is something I've not tried, it says that you can produce messages. Let's see if that's the case. Okay, so you can, if you click into the topic, says produce messages. Let's see. Okay, so all right, so it's a key pair type of thing. So let's see, name Tom. Okay, and then you go down, produce message, send successfully. Let's say another one, city, let's say NY, produce message. Okay, and then maybe let's add another one, maybe let's say type, don't know, city, just, you know, some random stuff, right? So okay, and then if we go back to our topic now, let's see if we have messages, and you can see we have messages, right? Those messages we produced. So you can, if you are comfortable with UI, you can go ahead and produce your messages from the UI, and you can still access the same messages right there. So let's go back and even in the terminal, see if we can consume the messages from that topic. So this was the command that we had for consuming messages. I'm just going to change the topic here to UI underscore topic underscore demo, like so, and we should be able to see those 3 messages. Tom, NY, city. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so you can see now that I think our Kafka is PFing as intended. It's PFing properly. We are able to send messages, consume messages, and you know, browse it from the UI as well as the terminal, and all of this is running within our Docker environment. Okay, so you can see now our Docker is running, and I think if you go there, you can also see the logs as well. So if something was to happen in your Kafka and something, you know, there are errors, I think most likely you'll see them in this location. Let's see what else. I think Zookeeper also produces. Yes, yeah, we do have messages also in Zookeeper. So if there are messages that you want to see that are located in Zookeeper, you can come to the logs here, and you should be able to see how the logs are there, and if there are errors, then you can grab the error and hopefully troubleshoot your issues. Okay, and within the Docker desktop here, we have, I don't think we are able, if we navigate here, it's not going to work for us, but I think the one that I think should work is this one for UI. If you navigate there, yeah, there it is. So the UI one should work pretty fine, right? Very nice. Okay, so I think that is it. I don't know if there's anything else that I left that we have not mentioned. So we were able to install Kafka on our Docker desktop, and you know, we ran into a few issues there at the beginning with Gemini giving us the correct compose file. But I mean, I think it's a good exercise, right? If you are learning, and you know, so let's say assuming this is your first time using Gemini and you're trying to figure out how, you know, how things work, it's always you know, kind of a trial thing. Sometimes, you know, if exactly you know exactly what you're doing and you can tell it to give you exactly that, then most likely it's going to work. But in some other scenarios, it is maybe it's something new you've never tried it before, and you're just trying to figure out how it works. Then Gemini can help you. And you saw here, like, it was kind of conversational thing, right? You know, we started from a basic prompt, and then it gave us the prompt, and we had to refine it several times before it gave us exactly what we need. So this one is like kind of like an assistant, right? If you're working with a colleague next to you, you know, you're always doing this type of things. But in this event now, you don't have to do that. You can try things for yourself, and you know, have your AI assistant be able to help you. And you know, it never gets tired. So every time you have an issue, you can just come back here. It's able to interpret the errors and refine the solution it provided you earlier, and you can go ahead and follow the prompts until your final product is stable, right? So this is what we did in this video. Originally, when I was planning for this, this was not how I was planning. I just wanted to go straight into the solution, but I think I'm glad this happened, because now you can be able to use these solutions and make it work for you, right, in your day-to-day life. And this is for Kafka. Next time it might be something you've never worked with before, and if you just, you know, be patient and follow the prompts, most likely you will get a working solution, right? So this is something that AI has come up with that, in my opinion, is very positive, especially for developers and anybody else using AI in their day-to-day life. You can you know, be almost certain that in most cases it's going to point you to the right direction, and it increases your productivity. You are not stuck, and yeah, it's pretty nice. You cannot do this in the browser. So I think in the old days, when we didn't have AI stuff, you'll have to go to Stack Overflow and dig, you know, Google and do this. It never used to be easy, or read thousands of documentation, which is a good thing. But you know, if you want to bring up something quick, you know, it's much easier if you just tell the AI, you know, what to do and what to do for you, and give it back the errors if you run into, and it's going to refine it for you or suggest alternatives, right? Very nice. Okay, so that is it, guys, for this video. Just wanted to show you how to install Kafka on Docker container. Okay, so to get out of here, just click exit, and then it will bring you out of this place. And yeah, so that is it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel so that you can stay updated for videos like this in future. Alright guys, I will see you then in the next video. Bye bye.